Hello folks, welcome back to the Citadel server. We're high above Westhill here looking at the overhead map. And we're going to pick up where we left off working on the marsh along the East Farm Road, which is up here. In that little area there, you can sort of see what we had going. Obviously we tried a big square patch yesterday that worked out pretty well, so we're going to continue on with that method and hopefully it'll work out to our advantage. You can also see what's happening with the flower field and the way that the graveyard kind of helps bridge the gap between the wide open empty Minecraft landscape and the more, obviously player built town. And empty spots like this are starting to stand out for me too. Even on the map, you can tell when there's like an area that I've done all the custom shrubbery on versus an area that's just natural Minecraft stuff. So I'm looking forward to having this change. We're going to have this kind of thing happening over here. And I think having two of them, even though this is the map view, I think will kind of help tie the area together with the same sort of ecology happening, I guess, around. Speaking of, GrandpaCrafter looked up what a marsh was in between streams. We were debating yesterday whether a marsh or a swamp was based on like where it is in the world. And a swamp has trees, and apparently a marsh is just grass and or reeds. Mine might be a bog or a fen due to the high moss content, both subclasses of marshes. You learn something new every day, folks. That's really cool. So we'll call it a marsh. I think we just call it a marsh. That's pretty straightforward, I think. So we'll pop out and take a look and see what we're up to. I think my inventory is still full of all the stuff that I had yesterday. Oh no, I cleaned it out. That reminds me though, I want to bring a spare shulker down that way. This is full of stuff. Okay. Yeah, we're going to want to put this away. Yeah, I'm going to take that back. We're going to go put that back. I wonder what that big arrow will be. That one, which one? There's a couple. I think there was a couple. This is just where the river's going to be. I used to have one here as well. You can sort of see where I've landscaped the river and then I just stop because you just get so far outside the town that it just doesn't matter anymore. Oh, you did know that. Okay, cool. Hey, there's Kel. How's it going? You're having a good day so far? I'm excited. My friend Hannah is in town. Hannah, one of the members of the Citadel server, in town for Halcon. We're going to be hanging out after stream. Should be fun. I think I can put some of these away. Looks like those all have to go elsewhere. Didn't have room for the candles. That's just garbage. And that is going to Cosmic, as are those the next time we go down that way. I'm probably going to have to repair my shovel at some point today. Be my guess. Diorite. That should be enough room. ink sac somewhere. There they are. So I do have another storage place for the mini blocks. I guess we can start eventually moving all this stuff into the crypt underneath the graveyard too. Saves me from walking and flying all over the place. Oh, those are player heads. And I think this is all Megan's old stuff. So now, ooh. Need buckets. Bring that. I think that's all I needed. Don't know why I have that taking up a space in there. Lamb Chop resubbing 44 months in a row. Have a project for work that you got to get done, but wanted to drop in a lurk. Thanks for the lurk, and thank you ever so much for the support. Appreciated. I'll bring this too. Should still be a fairly straightforward build here. I don't think we need all of our shulker boxes, but we'll bring out what we can. Get the buckets. So now what we need to do is just flood the whole thing and then decorate from there. This is actually going to be easier with just fists. Yes, I know I could use a hoe, but I think the edge, I'm going to want to be precise enough that I don't like blitz through too much. I'm going to get a lot of moss back too, which is nice. Although some of it we'll have to put back. Oh no, Kel, that sucks. So you're not feeling well. That's no good. I've had like a headache or something, like a tension headache or some sort of just nagging discomfort for like, I don't know, several days now. I'm gonna eat my words here. We are gonna go get a hoe. I think that'll be faster. Since I have one. Yeah, when you do computer work, any kind of like shoulder or neck discomfort is rough. I find, anyway. I'm going to go to the gym after stream, though, so hopefully that'll loosen things up a bit. That, or I'll end up worse than where I started. Oh yeah, getting the hoe is a good idea. So we discovered the other day that this is better if you flood the whole thing and then put in the blocks that you want later. And of course, this part is quite easy and should fill in on its own with the exception of a couple spots. One thing you want to do before you do all this is make sure you get your water filled before you add the roots, because the roots are funky in terms of how they interact with water. Alright, so I think we liked the middle bit and this bit. So it's just this stuff we gotta get rid of. Fitting weather for doing work in a marsh. I'm at that level where if you just press the button too long, your shovel takes like 2 blocks more than you want it to. And all of this is just to kind of make it look as overgrown as possible by bringing the moss down into the ground. It would more likely be muddy, but we don't have a good block that's like brown and green that matches moss. I feel like the dirt block or a grass block wouldn't keep its top. It would get turned into dirt, and there'd be too hard of a line. Like right there would be a color shift, so I think I'll just keep it like this for now. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all of the other stuff here too. It'll make this a little bit easier to start from scratch. All this water work reminds me of things like mob farms and other things where I've had to fill in water, riverscaping and making bodies of water where there wasn't anything before. It's always a tedious thing. Oh, I missed a couple. Is that all of it? I think that's good. Yeah. I like it. Probably only really need to have 2 of those in there. All right, so we'll leave some of the moss here. I'm going to need a lot more of those. I don't think coarse dirt is going to really help. Ferns. I didn't bring bone meal. Too fast. That's what I want. And anything else? Maybe we'll bring the wood just in case. I think we should be fine. Got those. Need those. Got the grass. Oh. I never thought about drip leaf. I wonder if that's going to be too bright. No, that's pretty good. I don't remember how to get more drip leaf. Bone mealing it just grows it taller, right? Oh, and then you just get more. Okay. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Although, I guess we could do that, couldn't we? I could bone meal the whole spot and then go in and put in stuff, because then we'd have grass like that everywhere. Good idea, actually. I'm not sure why you'd ever need a ton of drip leaf, but it's easy to get. Goes to show you that Minecraft is expanding at such a rate that like I often can't keep up with, you know, all the different ways that you can do stuff. Okay. I think the way to do this is going to be the first pass of mostly muddy mangrove roots. And then I guess we can probably do a little bit of both. I was also wondering, instead of mud, if maybe stripped dark oak or spruce wood may look better. A little bit too bright. That's pretty good though. Try not to think too much about it, but ultimately it's going to be tough. I've already messed up. Yeah, it's pretty good. I think again it might be easier just to do the shapes first and then go through and add the textures. Don't know whether I'm adding too much or not enough. Try not to create patterns where I don't want to make them. It's the kind of thing where like you try not to think about it, but it's hard to get it right. Because you don't want it to look like a checkerboard, right? Definitely gonna need more of those. We might have to go to the mangrove swamp to get some more goodies. One of the best data packs I've ever made was using the stone cutter for wood. Very helpful. I need to get organized and make sure I put those data packs that are mine, not other people's, but the ones that I've actually made. I should be able to add those to Patreon. for folks. Or I could add them in the Discord and then people could have access no matter how they've got access to the Discord. That might be a better way to do it. Now, I don't know how important this step is or any logic behind it. I think it might just, if you work in layers like this, the results tend to look all the better, just because that way you don't end up with all the same textures everywhere. I think that looks pretty good. I might be making it a little bit more land dense, but at the same time, I think the map shows muddy or waterlogged roots as blue. So like if I was to take this away here and put the roots there, then yeah, so the map that shows is blue. So this looks like it's more sparse, but honestly it's probably just that there's more waterlogged blocks in there. I want to be careful with the roots because you can't put anything but a bush or a carpet on them. You can't grow grass on them. So I want to be careful with that. I think we've already established that bone meal in this doesn't do anything. Gotta be careful not to bone meal the moss, because then it turns other things into moss blocks that you may not want to be moss blocks. Oh, I forgot to bone meal everything. Whoops. Hopefully that grass will go away, although you probably won't be able to see it. I like how we don't have to bone meal every hole. It tends to spread across other places. Pretty good. Take a little while, but I think it'll look good in the end. I feel like the way to do it is definitely the one block at a time. Or like one type of block at a time, if that makes sense. Like you do all the rooted mangrove stuff first. What are these called? Muddy mangrove roots. is that still flowing? Weird. Really hard to see when it gets dark. Don't think that was the right color. Is there anything else that could go good down there? Not that we're going to be able to see. I think what I might end up doing is something a little bit more custom, like maybe right here where we can see a lot, but the rest of it can just kind of do whatever. I think that reads. Looks like a marsh. This is where I wish Minecraft Vanilla had cattails. Or I guess in some places in the world they're called pussy willows. Oops. It was a little bit faster if you try not to think. Don't carry that advice into anything but Minecraft, but yeah, a little bit of a pattern going on. Cattails would be awesome, Samus? Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. Been watching a lot of Satisfactory videos. I'm looking forward to getting back into that game. I'm gonna have to refresh my mind on how I arrived at where I arrived and get ready for update 8. I might actually update the Metroplex save to update 8 just to kind of see how the computer performs with it in case it's rough. Pretty good. Bone mealing the water holes was a good idea. I really wish we had something that you could put in water. Because bamboo blocks it and sugarcane gets washed away. But it would be cool to have some stuff that would be standing in the water. I guess the closest we can get would be doing like a double bush maybe. That's the closest, but that's not the same effect as what you might want as something that would look like a reed. I might put some sugarcane at the very back. I do like the little bits of moss as well, so we might try to work those in. The mighty Elkhorn is here. How's it going, Elkhorn? Hope you're having a good day so far. We are slowly but surely poking away here at the East Farm Road Marsh. Oh, some of those are directional too. Careful of that. Much prefer the way that they look going straight up and down. Don't see any other culprits. Oh, there's one. That's going to get rid of the water, I think. Yep. I guess I got to be careful with the wood as well, because you can't put... I can put a carpet on that. Right, but I can't put a like actual grass. As cool as they look. At least with the mud you can put grass on it. So in that case it may be better not to have those directly on the edge. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. Ah, Elkhorn, we have to correct you now. It's looking marshy. Apparently the difference between a moss and a swamp is that a swamp has trees. Actually, you know what? We were looking at drip leaf just before you got here. It's in my inventory. I guess we could do something like that. Unfortunately, it takes up the whole space, right? I guess we could just bone meal it and make it like a little bit bigger. But that's a little bit, you know, like much for there. So maybe what we'll do, save those for the back, you know? Some place like back here would make sense. Are these directional? Yes. So you'd have something like this in the background, and then we could bone meal at least one of these. It's going to get really hard to move around in here really quickly. Yeah, that works. The drip leaves are a little bit weird in how flat they are. I mean, I get that they have to be that way because of the functionality of them, but they're a little bit strange to me. I don't know how to blend this in. Like, I'm not sure how to tackle like that kind of stuff. I guess in some ways we can go down there with a bush and kind of soften it up a bit. Yeah, the tiny drip leaves, you can only get those from, I think it's the Wandering Trader, and actually getting them from dripstone caves, right? I only have the one. I've been using those very sparingly. Yeah, like I'm not sure what to do in areas like this. Yeah, we can do stuff like this. Then it just starts to grow and, you know, becomes a whole thing. That softens the edge a little bit, but I guess it sort of helps. We don't have any like slabs, you know, to get in here and soften things up. I guess in some ways we'll have bone meal, or not bone meal, but like foliage and stuff all along here. But then like right there, and that's kind of a good spot maybe to put a bush like that. But that might be the last thing I need to do. Actually, that's not bad. That softened things up a little bit. How dense did I make this? Like every 4 blocks or so? You definitely have to back up a lot. Actually, this will help. Yeah, I'd say it's pretty good. Maybe something in there. Where is that? I guess you should put some ferns in here too. The rest of it's actually pretty simple, you know, like you don't want to overcomplicate it. So like once you've got your kind of special blocks in there, actually that's Wrong. It's actually pretty straightforward. Can't forget about the carpets. Whoops. Oh, that's going to be a pain. I have to be careful where I click, I guess. It's kind of frustrating that you can't get a bucket of water from a water source block if it's got seagrass in it. I think that's everything. I don't know if I'm overdoing it on the bushes. Maybe we need to keep the bushes closer to the edges. Although, on top of the brown log might help. Moss layers? Yeah, that would be intense. I'm okay with having this actually be a little bit more open because this is where the river is, like, it's actually going to start to flow. I guess I should just move this. I'll block this here. I guess that's going to move no matter what. Yeah, that'll be a lot of messing around. Yeah, so this could be less dense maybe. Just to kind of indicate that water would be maybe moving a little bit more over here. Plus it's really close to the bridge, and so generally when I have like a lookout point like this, like people are probably not going to walk over here and look at the swamp or at the marsh. There's more than likely going to be like what you see here, and then as you cross the bridge it would be nice if, well, I guess you're not going to be able to see much here either. It would make sense that there wouldn't be a lot of bushes in that area. More grass. Let's just move this along to here. Probably have this come out just a little bit. A little bit of shape. And I guess we'll count it back from maybe here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That block there. Cool. And again, we'll have the nice water flowing noise when we walk over the bridge, which is always good. Grass. If they wouldn't grow into mangrove trees, I'd plant a propagule, but I don't think I want that. It would be neat to have maybe one tree at the back, but I guess that would technically turn it into a swamp. I think that's grass and all the things that can have grass on them. Nope. Spot. I mean, obviously I know I'm not done. I just kind of want to make sure I have a good concept of what needs to happen, and of course then I do something stupid like that. Break time when you're ready, says Cosmic. Thank you ever so much. Yeah, so seagrass with a water source still acts like a water source. But you can't grab it. It's becoming very tricky to move around, that's for sure. So obviously we've got the back to fill yet, but that's kind of what it looks like when you walk by. I think it's pretty good. It's a little small and it's a little isolated, so we'll have to do something along here. My guess is something like just bone meal. And then just come back in and get rid of the flowers. And probably also the too tall grass. Yeah, that helps a little bit. I don't want to get crazy and I don't want to have to like customize all the way up to here. I'm hoping that I can keep it fairly simple. Just kind of soften up some edges here and there. A little bit of dirt's okay, but yeah, have to see what's up. Anyway, I need to take that break. Stick with those today. Tempest Pirate. Hello. Got a job painting a house. 8 hours long. Good for podcasts. So that's awesome. Episodes 1 through 37 in 2 weeks. Oh my gosh. Of the Spawn Chunks, I'm guessing? Because there's also the Citadel Cafe if you want to listen to that too. There's a lot more of those. I think about twice as many almost. Welcome in. Thanks for saying hi. And thanks for the compliment. I'm glad you like the podcast. Once again, folks, I take a break about once an hour. It just gives me a chance to step away, reheat my coffee, that kind of stuff. I'll be back in 5 or 6 minutes. Maybe a little bit longer this time, but we'll see. I'll be right back. All right. I think I might have to cave and get that new version of the tables and chairs data pack and just replace everything in Westhill. Really frustrating that it's all broken now. That's why I don't play snapshots, because when you load and unload texture packs and data packs, it tends to mess things up from different versions of the game. I don't know why it shouldn't. At least I don't think it should. I guess it does feel a little bit on the light side down here. That's pretty good. It's one of those things that you just can't really see what's going on unless you're backed up a bit. I guess if I wanted there to be less blue, then we could take the muddy or the mangrove roots and just kind of put them wherever I feel like there's a little bit extra, you know? Don't want to put too many, of course. It's almost like a game of whack-a-mole. Oops. More bushes required. The new adds to tables and chairs are fun. Benches and grandfather clocks. See, that's what I don't care about grandfather clocks. I don't want grandfather clocks in a tables and chairs mod, you know, or data pack, you know, like I find that a lot of data pack, you know, authors, they tend to include a lot of stuff that just shouldn't be there. I'd rather granularly be able to, you know, update things. And I know I don't have to use them. I'm just thinking like in terms of stuff that matches what I want to do and more bone meal and more bushes. Never thought about adding different kinds of bushes. Maybe we need some jungle bushes. I'll add one and see what it looks like. We sprinkle those around, they might look good. just to make it look less samey. This is the kind of thing that just, it's why these projects end up taking me so long, but it helps with things just not looking so repetitive, right? It's subtle, but now it doesn't look like a grid of azalea bushes. Well, thanks, Cosmic. I think what we're going to end up having is one of those bushes that kind of cascades down over here. Actually, probably put moss underneath there. Whoops. I guess we'll go moss there. Grass back. Kind of bounce it around. This is definitely going to need, I think I said I should maybe put a little bit of time into the bridge before I get too carried away with something like that. But it'll be nice to kind of hide the dirt sides that you see here. Don't know if we can get away with drip leaf in there. But whoops. Whoops. Grab that. Yeah, I mean, we can do a little bit more once we get things sort of the way that we want. But I do like using moss carpet to kind of like layer things up like that. I find it quite useful. Need a Shrek, yeah. I'm not sure whether this is too nice of a swamp. I feel like I've created some weird, like, channels. It's also very hard to see what you're aiming at. It helps a little bit. The ferns really do stand out sometimes. They might be more useful up against the edges where we can hit them with bone meal and get them to be taller. Yeah, that helps a bit too. I've got a funny feeling we might end up covering up some of the water that's like right up against the edge. That might be better to have something with grass on it that close. Or, as I just mentioned, fern. This area is going to get a little bit more scrutinized because we can see it so close to the road. Anything kind of like in this little area here, I'm probably going to spend a little bit more time on. Yeah, I feel like the grass is but like going from mud to the waterlogged mangrove roots feels like a good transition. Whoa. Well, that explains why I was having some lag. It's happened a couple times in the last few weeks. And usually around this time, it's like mid-afternoon. I wonder if there's like a server reset at Shockbite or something. Oh man, didn't even get my last block placement. Actually, here would be a good spot for a bush. No, I'm not crazy about the bush going down in the water like that. I guess we do 2 in a row. Thought it looked weird, but okay. Trying to do almost like doing a little bit of a gradient, you know? Trying to give the blue of the water a softer edge. I wonder if a carpet would look good down here. Yep, just a matter of, I guess, moving things back and along and filling out the rest. Actually, let's go jungle. That'll help cover up some of the brown that you see over here. I think a lot of this is going to end up being, again, bushes or marsh. Not marsh, but moss. It's so hard to not just hit the moss with bone meal, because then of course it'll change a whole bunch of other things around here to moss blocks and start popping things up maybe where you don't want to. Finally through that stack of moss. Gonna ask if lily pads might look here, but then I remembered it's a texture pack that makes my lily pads look like lotus flowers. Oh yeah, I do not have that texture pack. Our lily pads look like lily pads. Somewhere. There they are. It might work. The green is off, I think, for me. I've used them along the rivers before. It's not terrible, but I don't want to pepper those everywhere. It's such a weird green. If lily pads changed with the biome, then they'd be a lot more useful. We could also try some stuff with some vines too if we wanted to. To try to make some few things look a little bit different. I find the jungle leaves are not quite as dense as the azalea. I do find it helps give like a verticality to the texture sometimes. Don't know if they look good on azalea. That's not bad. Here I like to use carpets to kind of give a nice edge to the road. Maybe not both places. see, maybe here. They look like green Pac-Mans. Yeah, the lily pads have a funny shape to them, I agree. I think that's pretty good. There's a lot more grass than maybe there needs to be. I wonder if this would look better if I thinned it out a little bit and didn't put grass on absolutely everything. How's that? It's a little bit better, maybe. Maybe I went around and overdid it the first time. The fun thing is, I think we're gonna have to take a break and work on the bridge before we do the rest of this, because the landscaping here is very much gonna have to respond to what the bridge looks like. It's not gonna be overly complicated, but I do want it to look cool because you can see it, I think, from over here. Hey, there's True Purple. How's it going? Yeah, not like a lot, but you can see it. Maybe you see it more from the other road. Or if we end up bulldozing the top part of this hill. Yeah, you don't really get a good look at it, do you? Again, from here you'll see it, but like not super well. It'll be more important what it looks like on top. It's a nice little size though. Like it's the kind of thing where like it's gonna be a fun little thing to build. It's not gonna take forever. All right, we do need more muddy mangrove roots. I think that's pretty good for the foliage. It still feels a little bit dense back there, but I think that's just the angle. I don't know. This is the kind of thing where like, I know what a marsh looks like, and unfortunately we don't have any kind of reed that we can put in the water. Closest thing I would have would be sugarcane, which I don't think I brought over with me. I mean, I guess, what can we plant that on? But that is like a really garish green, and I've toned mine down. That's not as neon as the default as the default texture pack. It does, real sugarcane is that color though. I based my texture pack for sugarcane on a real image of sugarcane. Would bamboo work? Maybe. The fact that we've got muddy stuff to put it onto might help. Problem is that bamboo grows, right? We can't keep bamboo from growing, I don't think. The slightly better color. Bamboo also has the problem of being like it's not center on the block. That's okay. It's not the end of the world. I can totally put string on it, but then you'll see the string. And my string is like at a really low opacity. It's like 10% or something. But like that to me looks distracting and dumb, right? It's too bad we can't do that right click thing, you know, like you do with vines and warped vines and stuff. But I'm pretty sure those will grow. You know, I guess we could try to put I saw this somewhere. Was it glass and candles? Glass panes and candles, maybe? I have no idea if this is going to work. No. Can't put candles on top of that. That's too bad. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Candles float. But candles are in the middle of the block. Can you not add to candles when they're not on something? Huh. Wouldn't have thought that. Alcorn mentioned an idea. Mythical had a cocktail on Infinity Cove. 2 green glass panes with a brown candle top. Yeah, maybe that's where I saw it before. I think I've seen Mythical Sausage do that before too. It only really works if you've got the right piece of bamboo though. Right, like your bamboo has to be really central. I guess that's where the glass pane comes in, right? Do I have glass in my ender chest? I probably do. Really transparent, right? It doesn't really work. It's the right shape. And that just looks like a stick with a candle on it. I mean, I guess in some ways, having a little bit of stuff like that would be cool, but yeah. One of the things I don't use a lot is dead bushes. Yeah, that's not going to work. It's too bad. They looked okay. Yeah, I guess the dead bush looks a little bit funny out front. It might be okay if it was layered in a place like that. And of course, I don't think we have a way to craft a dead bush. I think we only have to collect them, right? So I don't have a lot of them. I think that looks okay. Happy, welcome back. Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Whoops. MindTripMedia with 100 bits. Thank you ever so much for the support. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Now again, I'm going to be careful here. I don't bone meal any moss, but I think a little bit of this along here. I guess I don't really need the string anymore, do I? String, glass, candles. Oh, missed a flower. Now, when you start to add the layers going up the hill, I think it actually starts to work pretty well. I find little things like that, pushing in a bush into the hill instead of just making it moss, help a little bit too. Yep. Yeah, I did Cosmic. Thank you. Always good to double check. I think that works. I think that works. I guess I should just stop delaying and go do the boring stuff over here. Whoops. Slug bug. Yep, we are cozy building with moss. It's probably harder to add this later than it would have been to just do it all at once. Trying to change directions as often as I can. You know, this is 100% what was making me seasick yesterday, I think. There's too much looking at the ground. Oh, we're out of those. That's right, we're gonna get some back anyway. What are the brown blocks? There's a lot of brown blocks on the screen. You're going to have to be a little bit more specific. Mighty mangrove roots, and stripped dark oak in some places. So I like what I did before using the mangrove roots is kind of like a bridge, making it a little bit more dense along the edges. I think if that's all of them. Yep, and then we'll just throw in a few logs here and there. I don't know. I've only been kind of more aware of it lately, but I feel like I don't think I realized you could put carpet directly on water. Yeah, the way that I've done it, Slugbug, is that I have a shulker box where I kind of organized a bunch of landscaping blocks, and they're all different kind of browns. So you've got soul sand, soul soil, stripped dark oak, brown terracotta, gray terracotta, black terracotta, brown mushroom blocks, rooted dirt, brown concrete powder. So like if I pop in here, you can see a bunch of different brown blocks. And this is a lot lighter than the swamp. And so something like this would be too dark for me in here. So you can kind of choose your tonal range based on project. In the same way that rooted dirt down there would be far too light colored, you know? Actually coming together a little bit faster than I thought it was going to. So that's good. I don't know whether it's the latest builds of Minecraft because of the snapshot. I mean, I'm still playing on 1.20.1, right? Can't wait for 20.3 to come out, and hopefully Sodium and everybody will update, because I feel like I'm having some performance issues. Like I feel like there's sort of a lag happening. Not there. Now most of the viewing is going to be from over here, so that's why I keep on running back to the road. More break time? Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the reminder, Cosmic. That's fine. Like I said before, I don't want to overdo it. Now that it's all in, that looks pretty good. I mean, we still have a few more details to lay in, obviously, but if I throw this on, we're about mid-morning. A lot of work for just something that you see to your peripheral vision. but I quite like it. It comes into view from quite far away because of the way that we've angled it. You start to see it back here, right? Yeah, we're definitely going to need something over here. There's going to need to be some trees or something. I got to remind myself how to build, like how to force Minecraft to grow the big oak trees. Because even just something like that, just hanging out right there would be fine. I don't want to build like a dozen custom trees. That would be crazy. For just such a small project. I say small project and it's been a couple streams already. That. Keep those. Don't need the bushes. Cool. Alright, as per usual, folks, I take a break about once an hour. 'Tis that time. I'll be back in about 5 or 6 minutes to hopefully finish up the back side of the marsh. Nothorious, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. And King Newbie. Appreciate the follow as well. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Cosmic. So I looked up the tree thing on the wiki, and apparently it just needs to be any block inside of the 3x3 grid that a sapling needs to grow on. So we'll just throw one down and see what happens. I think I've got one. Yes. And I'll use, I guess, a gravel block or something. Something easy to see. So if I was going to be a tree, I'd say like right there. I'm zeroed in. Second level. Oh, don't go sideways. I'm thinking like right here. So there's the 3x3 grid. So if we put a block here, it should technically grow up into a big one. I'm just going to let Minecraft do its thing. There's a chance. I don't know if it'll force it. I think it will. I think the idea is that it tries to get high enough so that the leaves don't like touch the dirt surrounding it. So we'll see if that comes out the way we are hoping. And then I guess we just go through the next phases of the other side of the swamp while we wait. Do these first. Nope, not there. Try not to put grass on every single spot because I feel like we did that before and it ended up looking a little bit too cluttered. I'll leave a couple of bald spots, I guess. Well, that didn't work. Thought I was supposed to force it. Maybe it only gives it a chance to be a big tree. I thought it had to be a slab. If you use 2 blocks and a slab, it usually goes big? Okay. The wiki just said any block, but I thought it was a slab. Like, I thought it had to be like sapling there and then slab in that position, like on an angle, but that could be old news. That's not distracting at all. The only thing, I think we need more bushes along the side there. But I need more grass. And I don't have a lot of ferns. Sometimes it's just easy to do it the old-fashioned way. Okay, ferns, strip leaf. Wandering trader. Wonder if he's got any good stuff. Maybe he can grow a big tree? I don't know. He's about as annoying as a big oak tree when you don't want them to be around. Do we see anything we want? I don't actually. Not off the top of my head. Yeah, I think we've got all that stuff. Services are not needed. Annika, yes. Yeah, it's just a marsh that drains. We had this natural dip in the terrain was here, and so I just got the idea this was already like this. It wasn't as nice of a shape. We obviously made it a little bit more natural looking. But yeah, this is just going to drain down here. So you can see where I've sort of got it carved out where it's going to come down into the river. And it's really just for me, like, unless we come up with a way to build something on that hill, there's not going to be a real reason to look over this way. So just for us. Image too high. Not the sharpest crayon in the box, is he? Oh. The llama survived. All right, so along here, I think we'll add in a few more bushes. And carpets. Oops. Wrong block. I think I might have to go get the rest of my blocks. My shulker boxes. Now, same thing back here. Of course, we can do a little bone meal and then get rid of the flowers. Wouldn't be surprised if all the very quick switching between, you know, your inventory and your game screen is also hard on the eyes over time. I wonder if you get more flowers if you've got more space. You know, like, or a higher chance of flowers, not volume, but the chance increases. When I do bone meal on like a small patch of grass, I don't seem to get a lot of flowers. All right, I'm done waiting. Nothing. Yep, that's pretty good. Put an extra bush in the back there, and I think that'll probably work out. Oh, I need more bone meal. Carpet. This is the kind of thing where it's not really necessary, but it is satisfying when you don't have a lot of distractions. Like, for example, that top one's actually a little bit distracting, but when you can just kind of give a little bit of a hint that it's not just all default dirt sides. Babery Moose, thanks very much. Yeah, I wanted a little bit more of like a marsh, like a low-lying area. And I can see, I do like the drip leaf. Maybe we could use a couple right there. Or at least one. That's not what I wanted to do at all. Definitely need more bone meal. Jay Geft, hello, good to see you. Day's going okay, yeah. I was mentioning earlier, it's been one of those weeks where I've had like a tension headache off and on the whole week. And so it's weird how, like, sitting here by myself, I'm fine, but then after a couple hours of streaming, I do feel like start to notice it. It's probably also a couple hours sitting at the computer. I mean, obviously I take breaks, but it's one of those, it's not the end of the world, but you also wish you didn't have it. You know? Yeah, I like the lighter pops of green with the drip leaf. I think that's pretty good. Maybe we can put one over here. Actually, I wonder if we can do some ferns here. Oh, did I hit that with the bone meal? So I've done this before where you kind of mix up ferns and grass. And then you hit it, the bone meal, and it ends up looking really good. Covers up a lot of stuff. Yep, we'd obviously want to continue that right up to the bush. Thank you, Cosmic. Much appreciated. Yeah, and we would probably want to do that for a good chunk of that hill, but that'll take no time. What it looks like finished is something like this. You can throw in some bushes, and then you just kind of mix in ferns and grass, and then just hit them all with bone meal. I mean, some of them you don't, just so it doesn't all look the same height. So closer to the top you don't, and then closer to the bottom you don't. Seems to work out okay. Obviously, that hill's not done. Let's see if we can get lucky. Not bad. It's certainly a large one. Yeah, we definitely needed something there. Definitely needed something there. I might even put a second one up on the hill. That's pretty good. And what was I looking for? Lab. So one of the nice things about doing this is that you can always make it look more like a custom tree by just adding a couple blocks to the bottom of it. Oh, did I bring the wrong blocks? I brought the wrong blocks. Oh, come on. Joel places blocks for the first time. Now I know this is super far away, so I'm trying not to spend too much time on it. might be a little bit obvious. That's fine. The stairs are okay because of the grass, but I think this just needs to come back. And I think that's just about everything. Maybe a couple of moss carpets on the actual low part of the swamp. I mean, I still have to do all the, I guess, the perimeter of it, and we still have to drain it into the river. So there's still a few things left to do. I guess we could always look at the map too. Look, there's something just to my left. A big space right there. It's actually not bad. I think the trick with the drip leaves is just not to overdo it, right? Nothing crazy, Steven. I should probably get going, that's all. Let's try this. That was a delay. We're about to get another server lag issue. Nope, I think 2 is too many, so we'll just take the 1. Joel turns into a pumpkin. Joel has to go work out. I think that's pretty good. Considering we started with a bunch of trials from the other day. It feels like it gets a little bit too dense, but I think it's just because the farther away you get, the more dense it looks. You know, like if you look at it this way, this feels pretty good, but then the farther you look away, it looks like it's more dense, but I think it's just because of the angle. We get over there, I think it's roughly the same. Yeah, I think it's fine. All that for something you can see to the corner of your eye as you walk by. Oh boy. Minecraft has created a monster. I'm sure they are aware. All right. Yeah. That is where I got to wrap things up for today. I'll be back again tomorrow at 1 o'clock Atlantic for some Lego live Lego. We'll be putting at least one more wing on the X-Wing Starfighter, the UCS version of that, which has been a lot of fun. We're coming close to the end of that set, actually. I've got to figure out what I'm going to do next. I do have some of the other little bits that came with it, like there's like a little Death Star model that we'll do and things like that. You can also check out the podcasts that I do. They are found wherever you can find a podcast. Also on YouTube, that is the Citadel Cafe and the Spawn Chunks. New episode of the Spawn Chunks this week. We talked about the Crafter, and we have another episode of the Spawn Chunks coming out on Monday, and that's going to be talking about the copper and tough blocks. Both Pixelriffs and I have had a chance to play around with those in the snapshot. So that's going to be a lot of fun. You can also check out the Citadel Cafe on the website, wherever you can find podcasts, and that's where I talk about sci-fi and fantasy entertainment and stuff. Stephen ESC, who happens to be in the chat, is on the last episode. We talked about Ahsoka. I'm not sure what we're talking about next, but we're going to be recording on Wednesday the 1st. And that's going to be live in the Discord. So if you're around on Wednesday the 1st at around 8 p.m., then you can check that out live. And don't forget Patreon. If you are not a Twitch sub and you want to get in and check out the Discord, then Patreon is probably the best way to do that. It's less than the price of a coffee a month, and you get access to the Discord, and it auto-renews. It's one of the best ways to support your favorite creators, and I truly appreciate it. Cosmic, thank you ever so much for the moderation today. Always a good time, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye for now.